So the first one we're going to do is Google Keyword Planner. This is free. This is part of Google Ads. So this is a bit tricky. So it is free, but if you don't currently have a live campaign on Google Ads, some of the information you see will be a little bit limited. So you'll see like your search volume in a range rather than a specific number. But either way, it's still pretty useful. Okay, let me just share my screen then. Yeah, so I just got a question of, is there a way to check the CPC before activating your SEO? So what I'm actually going to do now is I'm going to run through a few different tools. And all of these tools actually do tell you an estimated CPC. So it's very helpful when you are planning out your SEO or PPC campaigns. So discover new keywords or get search volume and forecasts. So the first one is if you need new keywords, you want to find the new keywords. And the second one is if you have a list of keywords and you want to see whether or not they are really worth it for you. Okay, so I'm going to start with discovering new keywords. So same thing here. We can start with keywords or we can start with a website. So again, normally I do both. So let's say I'm going to start with keywords. So here they have an example here, leather boots. Let's go with that. So you can select a language down here and you can select your country as well. So the results I'm going to see now are going to be all specifically about Singapore. So as you can see, a lot of keywords have come up related to leather boots. So in this column over here, it tells me the average monthly searches. Over here, we see a change, the 3-month change. So you can kind of see if certain keywords are trending. We can see the competition, if it's high or low. And over here, we can see the estimated cost per click. So in this case, the cost per click seemed fairly cheap, anywhere from 16 cents to the most expensive one was like $1. So not super expensive. So what I would usually do is I'm going to select all the ones that I think are related to my business. Of course, I don't really have a leather boot business. So for the sake of this tutorial, I'm just selecting at random. But I'll select the ones that I think are relevant to my business, and then I'll add them to create plan. These do not have a huge amount of search volume yet. So what I can do here is, now that I'm done with that, I'm just going to take this away and add another term. So let's say anything that I think is related to my business, I'm going to add it in there and see what comes up. That way I can choose the ones that I think are related to my brand. So again, you'll see some things with branded keywords, which you can choose to remove these from your search results. So depends, for example, if you're a company that carries a lot of other brands, then this would be useful for you. If you don't carry these brands, then you can remove them. So I don't have to waste my time kind of scrolling through them and filtering through the ones that I think are useful and not useful. Okay, so the other thing I'm going to do is, for example, okay, if I Google women's shoes, so let's say the first hit is Charles & Keith. So what I can also do is I can copy this website. And so let's say I want to start with a website instead. So what are the keywords that Charles & Keith is ranking for, or that they are targeting? So again, you can scroll through, and so most of these are going to start out with a lot of branded keywords. So you can scroll through, and you may find some things that are useful for you, you may not. But usually I'll do this with at least 2 to 3 of my competitor sites. Go through at least 2 to 3 different domains, as well as do it the keyword way, which I previously did. And from there, like I will just add in anything that's even mildly related. Then I will usually download them all, and then after that go through and kind of filter through them. But I'll get to that after this. Okay, to discover keywords, it's best start by keyword or website. So for me personally, I will usually start with a keyword because I think for any brand, whether it's your brand or a company you work for, you will have a general idea of what is like the main keyword of your product. But even if you don't, that's usually like a good place to start. And then from there go to domain. But whichever order you do it in is not really important. Because I would always recommend that you do both when you're doing your keyword research. So you're going to do both of them anyway. Okay. So that is the end of Google Keyword Planner.